Okay, I'm going to attempt to do the 3D questions on this video that I couldn't do on the smartboard video, so here we go. I'm going to start with number 12 on the review sheet, which reads, point A is on plane P. So I'm going to use my hand as my plane, and I'm going to draw a point. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, you can see that. Right here is my point. Okay. Because eventually I'm going to have to put a line through it. So the question says, excuse me, how many lines are perpendicular to the plane that are going to pass through this point? So here I would have a line that's perpendicular to the plane, but not passing through the point, which I've designated right here. So I need to move this down. So now the line is perpendicular to the plane and passing through the point. So there is only one line that's going to be perpendicular to the plane and pass to that point. So the answer to question 12 is choice 1. Number 13 reads, two parallel planes, so I'm going to start like this. Two parallel planes are intersected by a third plane. So I need my third plane, which I will use as my piece of paper like this. Two parallel planes are intersected by a third plane. It says, what is formed by the third plane's intersection? If I turn it up like this, it's my two fingers, okay? It's the two fingers like this. And those fingers are lines, and those lines are parallel. So what happens is when two parallel planes are intersected by a third plane, you get two parallel lines. So the answer to 13 is choice C. All right, number 14. Planes P and R, here we go, are going to be perpendicular to the same line. So here's one plane perpendicular, here's the other plane perpendicular. Okay, here's what we have. And now it says planes P and R must be, well, if I'm looking at my planes, I can even show you sideways, the planes are not going to touch, they're going to be parallel. So 14 is choice D, parallel. Number 15 says point A is on line M, so I'm going to use my pencil. I'll designate my point as the eraser. And it says how many planes, so I'm going to use my other hand, how many planes are perpendicular to line M, so that would be perpendicular, but also also contain point A. So I need to move my hand so that I'm going to be right on the eraser. And there's only one way I can hold my hand so that it's perpendicular to the line and passing through the eraser. So the answer is choice 1, or choice A, 1. There's only one plane that's going to be perpendicular to the line that's containing the point. We're on number 16. Lines K and M intersect at P. Now in class, I said you can use two lines and lay them flat on your desk. It's going to be a little hard to do here, so what I did was I made a little index card. Lines K and M intersecting at point P. So now that index card is kind of laying flat like this. Okay? And now it says line L is perpendicular to both lines K and M at P. So what's happening is I need a perpendicular line to both of those. So the only way that's going to happen is if the line, here's my line, it's going to go like this. It's going to come out. So if I'm laying the piece of paper like this, now I'm going to have a perpendicular line. What I'm going to do is lay it flat like this so I could show you, and boom. And now we go through the choices. So the line I'm holding in my hand is line L. So choice A says line L is contained in the plane. Well, it's not contained in my hand, it's stabbing my hand. Or it's intersecting my hand. So choice A is wrong. Line L is clearly not parallel to the plane or the piece of paper. It is, however, perpendicular to the piece of paper, and it certainly does intersect. So the answer for number 16 is choice 3. Okay. Number 17 says lines K and M are perpendicular to the same plane. So I'm going to use one hand, one perpendicular line, another perpendicular line. Now if you notice, if I hold like this, the two lines themselves, the relationship is that they are parallel. Okay? Parallel lines form a plane together. So lines K and M, we would describe them as coplanar. All right, I'm skipping to question 26. That's the next planes, lines, and points question. The question reads, two parallel planes, here we are intersected by a third plane. And what do they form? Well, they form, look at my fingers. My fingers are representing two parallel lines. So 26 is choice C, two parallel lines. Number 27 says a line, here's my line, is perpendicular to two different planes. So here's one plane, and here's another plane it's perpendicular to. They're making right angles. Okay? And now it's asking me about the planes. Well, what's happening between the planes? Well, the planes are parallel. They're not going to touch. So choice A is correct. All right, number 28 asks, in which situation are lines K and M not coplanar? Well, if two lines intersect, okay, two lines that intersect form a plane. So that's a problem. They would be coplanar. Lines K and M are parallel. Well, parallel lines, see, parallel lines, wow, I'm really getting this wrong. Let me do it like this. Parallel lines also form a plane. So that's not going to work. Lines K and M are perpendicular to the same plane. Let's try that. Lines K and M, here's my plane. Lines K and M are both perpendicular. So those lines are parallel, and parallel lines also form a plane. Lines K and M do not intersect, so they're not intersecting, and are not parallel. So I hope you can see from here. Oopsie. These lines are not intersecting, they're not parallel. These lines are skew lines, and they are not on the same plane, skew lines. Okay, skew lines are not on the same plane. Now, if they were touching like this, they would be coplanar, but they're not touching, there's space. Okay, so I know it's hard to see on the video because the video isn't 3D, but these lines are actually not intersecting each other. Much easier to see, actually, if you're doing it in real life. Okay, so number 28 is choice D. All right, number 29 says, given a line and a point on that line. So I'm going to have a line, and I'm going to designate the eraser as the point. How many planes contain the point? So I need a plane that contains the point. So far, it's infinitely many. There are infinitely many ways, angles I could show my hand at. But are perpendicular to the line. So now we have the right angle. And there's only one way you can hold your hand. Okay? So that it's passing through the eraser and that the line is perpendicular to the plane. So there is only one plane. All right. Number 30, lines M and N intersect at point A. And like I said in the previous question, I'm going to do this on this paper. Normally I would have you guys lay two intersecting lines flat on your desks and have the other line pointing out. But it's a little hard to do on the video, so I'm going to do it slightly differently. So here are our two lines. All right, they're intersecting, and in this case the lines are called M and N. So I'll just rename M and N. They're intersecting at point A this time. So I'll turn that into an A. All right. And now line K is going to come in. And line K has to be perpendicular to these lines at point A. And the only way you're going to be able to do this is like so. This line has to come out at you. So I'm just going to lay this flat like so, like we did before. And now here we go. Here's the situation. The pencil is perpendicular to both lines. So now it says, which statement must be true? Lines M, N, and K are in the same plane. Well, that's not true. Lines M and N are in the same plane. They're flat, and K is coming out, so that's not going to work. Lines M and N are in two different planes. Not true. Lines M and N are in the same plane. They're in the index card on my hand. Lines M and N are perpendicular to each other. Well, if I looked, these lines, the intersecting lines, don't necessarily need to make a right angle with each other. Okay? This looks like a cube. This looks like an obtuse angle. And number 4, choice 4 rather, line K, the pencil, is perpendicular to the plane containing lines M and N, which is true. This line is perpendicular to the index card. So for 30, choice 4 is correct. All right, number 31, it says plane A, here's plane A, is parallel to plane B. Plane C intersects plane A in line M and intersects plane B in line M, or line N rather. And they're asking us about lines M and N, and those lines are not intersecting, but they are parallel. Okay, so for number 31, it's choice 2, parallel. And number 33, 32 is actually easier. And 32, I believe, is on the regular video. So I want to stop this now. And those are the 3D multiple choice questions that really you can't do on the smartboard.